The World Swimming Championships 2025 get started this week in Singapore. And being a British swimming podcast, we're going to take you through the hopefuls for Aquatics GB, the names that you need to look out for, and potentially where a double-digit medal haul can be found. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Propulsion Swimming Podcast. Yes, it's that part of our previewing heading into a World Swimming Championships. We're going to talk about British hopefuls, being massive British swimming fans, being a British podcast and mainly a British audience, albeit over the past few months. Actually, we've gone global, Dan. We've had a bigger audience over the past few months on YouTube, but this week we're going to be previewing Aquatics GB, where we think medals come from, and we're going to be bold, we're going to be hopeful. Like, there's no point going into a World Championships with a negative mindset at all.
Yeah, well, we've got 28 swimmers going into the Singapore World Champs, a mixture of, some of our best swimmers that we've ever had, as well as some young swimmers coming through, some up-and-coming talent. So it's a good mixture of experience and people who will gain that experience from their ventures out in Singapore. So actually, it's quite an exciting team. And like you said in the intro, there's potentially a chance of some double-digit medals, which has been a while since we've had something like that.
Yeah, and there's medals from new avenues as well, which we're going to get into. But before we dive into the depths of this week's podcast, I do want to let you guys know that this podcast is brought to you in partnership with One Flow Aquatics in Summer Bay, the newest destination for your warm weather training camps on the Red Sea in Egypt. And you can book your next training camp now following the link in the show notes of this podcast, which will take you over to sports booking agent Sports Abroad. Dan, the best place to start for me for this podcast is kind of to remind everyone of the team that was selected for Aquatics GB and how those swimmers were selected. I know we're flashing back to April of World Trials, although it's not called World Trials, Aquatics GB Swimming Championships. But there's 28 swimmers, like you said, heading out with the GB crest on their hat or Union Jack on their hat. So let's remind everyone who is selected. So there was a pre-selection clause heading into this World Championships, essentially off the back of the Olympic Games. Performance-wise, swimmers were given a certain grace because of medals at the Olympic Games. They were given the chance to train through trials, is what we presume. Most of them did. Train through trials and aim at a World Championships and not have to worry about getting their selection secured in April. Those swimmers were Tom Dean, James Guy, Ben Proud, Matt Richards, Duncan Scott. Very familiar names for everyone on this podcast, whether you're a British swimming fan or not. Then, after winning an individual event at the Aquatics GB Swimming Championships and recording a consideration time or a qualifying time, these following swimmers also make their way to Singapore. Freya Colbert, Angharad Evans, Max Litchfield, Kiana McInnes, Oliver Morgan, Eva Acaro, Katie Shanahan, and Abby Wood. And then placing second in individual events, as well as hitting qualification times, were Luke Greenbank, Holly McGill, and Jacob Mills. And then there was relay considerations, which obviously I think everyone recent years, past few cycles, has been a huge target for Aquatics GB, essentially aiming at medals. It really came off in Tokyo. The names heading out for relay selections were Freya Anderson, Greg Butler, Lucy Hope, Ed Mildred, Leah Schlossen, and Jacob Whittle. That doesn't mean that they're only swimming relays in Singapore, because a few of them, I know Freya Anderson, as an example, is swimming the 100 meters freestyle. They've been given individual swims where there were open selection spots, essentially. They're available. And then there was a few discretionary picks based on performance director and GB head coach. Those names were Lauren Cox, Evan Jones, Johnny Marshall, Jack McMillan, Max Morgan, and Emily Richards, all of which, those 6 names, I mean, there's some really exciting youngsters in there, but all of them world-class, and they did well at trials, didn't hit the qualification time in their events, but actually you look at that list now and you go, well, actually Lauren Cox, well, we'll get to it.
Yeah, well, I was going to say.
Potential medal there on the board. So well worth the discretionary selection. They had a chance to take 30. They took 28. So I would presume that they're happy with the squad that's heading out there. In fact, I don't presume. I know that they'll be very happy with the squad that's going out there. And yeah, Dan, where to start? What names are you looking out for?
Like I said at the very beginning, it's a good mixture of experience and those trying to find the experience. And I think it's quite exciting. There are 9 swimmers that are set to make their senior world's debut for GB. Obviously, the ultimate aim is LA in 3 years' time. So if you can get a little bit of experience for the next 3 years at the international level, then surely it bodes well for LA. So, you know, swimmers like Eva and Jacob Mills, you know, those type of swimmers can only just soak up the experience and actually go for it and actually just see how it goes and go from there, really. So that's where I'm looking. And then obviously your Duncan Scotts and Ben Prowls of the world, who are hopefully going to bring back medals like they usually always do at these international meets.
Yeah, you say they're taking swimmers for experience and stuff like that, but they very rarely see it as you're going to build experience. Aquatics GB always say you're going to a meet, you're going to perform. You're not going there for the next meet. You're not going there for the Olympic Games to learn what a meet is. You're going there to it's a performance environment. And I know Chris Spice has come out and said the aim for swimmers is to hit season's best at these meets. And for a few of those swimmers, a season's best is like British record. A season's best is looking on the podium. So I think if we, for the next part of this podcast, if we take through the names that we're really looking forward to watch, and then we'll finish the podcast with putting some figures against medals. Names against medals as well, maybe. But we'll put some numbers out there. We'll do a, what do you reckon? A definite is too strong, but kind of potential and then hopeful.
Yeah, should we say likely? Is likely too strong as well? Hopeful?
Maybe. Let's go.
Okay. Let's go with your first
potential
2 words
and then
there.
hopeful.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay, but to start with, the names that we're looking forward to watching, I'm going to start with Angharad Evans. We've had her on the podcast in the lead up to these games. If you haven't listened to that episode, go back, go listen. There's like a mentality shift that's happened with Angharad since the last time we spoke to her on this podcast. She was kind of fresh onto the international swimming stage, even just a national swimming stage as a senior athlete when we very first spoke to her. Now, she's talking like she's not afraid of going into Worlds as world number 1. Like, it's a very, very exciting place. I hate to say it, as a female athlete for Aquatics GB, it's been a while since we've had that.
Yeah, but it's been brewing, though.
It has been brewing. People have, I've seen comments online which have been negative towards kind of the female squad that has gone to big international meets. And me and you have sat here going, I don't quite understand it. Because they've been on the cusp for ages of like Freya Colbert's breakout world medal, Lauren Cox's world medal. These are names that are very young in the sport and still have a long way to go. And now you're looking at the list of Angharad, who I've just talked about. Abby is still like, she races in the strongest events in women's swimming, and she is there or thereabouts at the podium every single meet. The women's side is strong, and this meet, I really do think medals will come away from this meet, and Angharad is leading the charge.
Well, that is the same as the relays. I think the relays are getting ever stronger. We talk about our women's 4x2, and yes, Freya again is the leading light for that. But you have swimmers like Abby coming through, and Freya Hansen when she's not ill and glandular fever hitting her. Like, the team is getting stronger and stronger. Lucy Hope is getting stronger. I know you have your Australian team who is extremely strong when Titmus is involved, obviously, and your Americans, Chinese. But I think ultimately we're going to get there eventually. And with these swimmers doing as well as they are, it's only going to build up the next generation after that as well. Swimmers like Eva, for example, who's basically just taken the role of Anna Hopkin after she's retired. So, you know, the sprinting side is good for another, let's say, 10 years, however long Eva wants to go for. But going back to Angharad, she's just doing amazing things. I can't remember, was it like 2, maybe 3 years ago? Like her PB was like a 108 or something. And now she's down to a 65 low, hoping to go a sub 65 and go 64 and put her name in like the top echelon of best breaststrokers ever. And she's not afraid, like you say. And genuinely, I actually think she could do that. And if you go a sub 65, then you're on the podium, in my opinion. So very exciting times, and she's not the only one to look forward to.
No, another swimmer who, like I said, if they hit a season's best British record, is Ollie Morgan. He's had a fantastic few years, kind of going strength to strength since breaking out, 2-3 years ago as the new backstroker for essentially definitely sprint backstroke. I know Luke has always been thereabouts in the 2 backstroke, although Ollie's now had that British title for quite a while.
He has, yeah.
He has. But his 100 meters backstroke this year, if we're talking that potentially he's aiming at 51s, you're in the conversation with Thomas Chekon, Jayu, Kalashnikov, and these are giants of the backstroke world.
Yeah. I think I said on the podcast to Angharad, they're such a same... They're in the same boat. Like Angharad, if she goes a sub 65, if Ollie goes a sub 52, you're in the elite of the elite. And then you're looking podium, if not stronger than podium, like silver, gold, that sort of range. It's very hopeful. And again, he has the same mentality of, if I can go sub 52, then the next port of call is the world record, which is then your check on not impossible, but a perfect swim, I thought. And if you can get anywhere close to that, then, well, we're in for a treat, because we haven't had a backstroker for Walker Hebben days, maybe Tancock days. You're looking 10 years ago. Yeah. So it's very exciting from that point of view.
Now
it's going to be interesting.
He's going to have an incredibly busy meet. Like, while we're all eyes on the 100, like that is the focus. You look at what Ollie's schedule is going to be. He's doing the 50, he's doing the 100, he's doing the 200. He's going to be doing the men's medley relay and definitely the mixed medley relay as well. So those 5 events where you're going heats, semi-finals, final. Heats, semi-final, final.
It's a lot of 100 backs.
Heats, final, heats, final. There's a lot of 100 backs in there, plus 3 editions of a 200 backstroke and 3 editions, hopefully, hopefully across all of them. There's a lot of swimming to be done. And obviously the men's medley's on the final day as well. I
suppose the good thing is that he has ample opportunity to try and break the British record again if you're going to swim it 5-6 times, and of course being the leading relay swimmer as well, those records or times count, don't they? Yeah. So he's got plenty of opportunity, which makes you think surely one of them's going to go, hopefully a sub 52, but even a PB wise. Exciting times both for the relay and for him individually as well.
What other swimmers do you have to watch, Linda?
Well, you mentioned her earlier, Lauren Cox. Let's start with her. And I genuinely think that she's got a great chance of medaling here. But the 50s, anything can happen. I mean, you see some people or some swimmers, they slip on the block and then that's cost them the race completely. That can happen to Lauren herself or other swimmers as well. But after that British record that she hit at the AP meet, that was in season, obviously, I'm quite hopeful that she can go a British record. And she's only like 0.2 off the world record. I know it's a lot over a 50, but... it's close. All it takes is an extra stroke, I suppose, even though stroke rate is actually incredible. But she's dealing with some big time swimmers. Yeah,
women's backstroke is phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's generational. Like the fact that it's Reagan Smith, Kaylee McEwen, and neither of those are the fastest in the world this year in the 50 back. If we focus on the 50 back, because that's where I think Lauren's best chance comes. You say she's 0.2 off the world record. She's still 5th in the world heading into this event. So by no means is this a sure thing, even after a British record at the AP International. But she's got form. She has been on a world podium before with these girls as well.
Yep.
I hope it all clicks into place. I really do. And I know after Aquatics GB champs, she said to us, you know what? The 50 add into the Olympic Games doesn't really matter to me. I'm still targeting the 100. It will take pressure off the 50, and the 50 will take pressure off the 100, which I hope is true. I'm also incredibly excited the 50's added to the Olympic Games.
Oh, so
from a selfish fan point of view, when you're 0.2 off a world record in an event, we should have that swimmer at World Championships. We should have that swimmer at an Olympic Games.
Well, she was the first pick on the discretionary, which I think was always going to be the case. If you're a world medalist and the 50 back is now actually, let's say, a big time event because it's the Olympic event, you're going to get selected. But again, at the 50 meter, anything can happen. I mean, we'll talk about Ben Proud in a minute, but he could easily win, or he could easily come 6th. That's the I guess the beauty of a 50, but also the cutthroatness of the event as well. So it's interesting though.
You mentioned Ben Proud then. Coming off the back of completing the medal set, in a way, he got his first Olympic Games medal off the back of Paris. Sprinting it's as fast as it's ever been, to be perfectly honest with you. I know you don't have your standout Caleb Dressel that once was about in the sprinting scene in the 53. I'm sure he'll come back to that at some point as well. But Cam McAvoy has kind of dragged the level of sprinting all up. So your baseline of making a final now, or the baseline of being an exceptional sprinter, it's really, really high. which I think we take for granted when we watch Ben swims at an international meet. The fact that we're sat here going, okay, Ben's going to final, he's going to be in chance with a medal, which means what? He's going to have to be going 21 mids in semi-finals, maybe even heats these days. That's exceptional.
It's actually a question I was going to throw to you. Like, what time is going to be needed to actually make a final nowadays? Because you've got a lot of swimmers going 21, 3, 4s around that sort of region already.
21 mids.
Yeah, that's mental. Like, once upon a time, that used to win. I think once that 21.5 actually won Worlds. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near it now. I think you're going to have to go 21.2, probably.
Yeah, 21.2, 21.3.
Something like that, of which Ben is more than capable, and that's the reason why he could win it. But at the same time, there's a few swimmers that could also get that time and just pip him. So, yeah, he's always going to be a medal potential for us because of how good he is. But Cam McEvoy is a problem at the moment, especially with the way he's going for his 15 metres.
And Jack Alexi.
Yeah,
I'm not writing Jack Alexi off whatsoever, but also it's a year where Ben had, we said right at the start of this podcast, he had that discretionary. So
yes,
at the Aquatics GB Championships, I think we both sat there just gone, he's gone a 21.6 or 21.6, 21.7, whatever happened. There's no way he's tapered for this. And we spoke to him afterwards, and he had barely got started. Like, his season had barely begun. And you go, I just like I said, I think we take for granted how good a sprinter Ben Proud is. How consistent he is.
And he is obviously, he's one of the best sprinters we've ever had. By a bit of a distance, actually, as well.
The best.
So, he's always going to be there. And you say he didn't come back to training after Paris for a long time. Duncan Scott's another one who had a long rest as well.
Well, his was
Paris.
It wasn't straight after Paris, was it? He did the World Cup series cashed in so he could travel over Christmas and winter, which looked incredible, by the way.
But, we said that on the podcast previously. I can't remember which one it is. We've done a few. But he had, I think, 3 months, was it? 3 months of work before trials or before champs. And he still went the times he did, and which bodes really well because, of course, he's going to be tapered for this. He's going to be shaved down. Everything else is mentally going to be there. So I'm really looking forward to seeing his 200 IM because he's not doing a 200 free.
I tell you what, we are 20-odd minutes into the podcast and we've not addressed that topic.
Yeah.
If people didn't know, James Guy is selected for the 200 metres freestyle for Britain, not Duncan Scott, after they tied at trials, and obviously Matt was pre-selected for that event, so that only one of them could swim it. I know it got slipped at the AP International. We weren't there on the final day, so we didn't hear it. It's kind of that sort of Easter egg that Duncan likes to give every now and again.
Yeah.
Now, we've just put up at the start of this week the gold medal predictions for Singapore, and you've tipped Duncan for the 200 metres IM purely, and I kind of love it. The way that you spoke about it as well, the fact that he has been solely focused on the 200 metres IM, I think he might have known for a little while that is going to be his sole individual. He usually goes into these meets with very busy schedules, and don't get me wrong, he's going to have relays all over the place. But just a pure 200 metres IM for him to be focusing on for the last 6-7 months, for coming up with a strategy to really take on Leon Marchand, which he has been doing. He's been swimming the 2 fly for a reason.
I was going to bring that up.
Going into Paris, he was swimming the 100 breaststroke for a reason.
Yeah.
He doesn't just do these things on a whim to mix up his schedule and have fun. That's part of it.
Have fun with the 200 fly. Yeah. Enjoy that.
That is part of it to keep things interesting and engaged, but...
Yeah, but he actually explained that there was a reason. He said the first 50 on a 200 fly is very similar to the first 50 on a 200 IM. And that's literally what he was trying to gauge. That's the whole reason he did the 200 fly, for him to then hit the Scottish record in 200 fly, because, that's what he does. Marchand is going to be favourite. There's no two ways about it. He's going to be favourite for 200 IM, but I have such a good feeling about Duncan doing really well in that event. He might even hit a PB. He might even go 54 for the first time. You never know. Very exciting times.
Who else are we excited for then? I'll stick on the seasoned vet. It doesn't seem right calling him a seasoned vet because he's still so young. But Matt Richards, he always shows up at a big meet for Aquatics GB, whether it was in Paris when he was in an outside lane in the 200 metres freestyle, and very nearly got gold. The 200 free this year, is fast. It's really, really fast worldwide. You're talking 143s. You're maybe talking sub 143 with one swimmer, Popovich, when we get into Singapore. But if it's a dogfight, if it's a race, if there's tactics involved, I kind of love Matt for it. I don't think he'll be far away from a podium at all. Like, how many meets has he shown up and gone podium, gold, world champion? Like, since he's burst onto the scene as part of that Tokyo relay team, he's never really disappointed. Like, he makes finals in the 100 meters freestyle world level, which is very, very impressive given how fast the world is in that event.
I was going to bring up, I kind of put Matt in the same category as Abby. You know, obviously amazing swimmers, but they're in the deepest and strongest events on their specific sides. Like the men's 100 free and 200 free is absolutely loaded. Same with Abby in the 200 IM. It's just a stacked event. But like you say, Matt ends up being on the podium more times than not. So yeah, I agree. If it's going to be a race, then I like Matt big time. But then if you're dealing with someone like Popovich or maybe even Hobson, who are going low 43s or even high 42s, then that's a drop of a second and a bit for Matt. That's a lot. That's a big ask. But it's whether they can do it on the big stage like they did at their trials, or
that's the thing.
Popovich did it outside in the LEN under 23s. Whether he can repeat that, maybe he can. But of course, he was swimming by himself, so whether that will play a factor or not. But like you say, Matt is a racer, as they all are. But Matt is a proper racer. He likes to get beaten. He likes to get amongst it, doesn't he?
Absolutely. The 200 free, whenever it comes to Matt, it kind of reminds me of how I thought before what's happened this year. How a 400 free always used to get raced at an international meet. There always used to be some ridiculously fast time in season, and then you get to the major meet, and it's like the swimmers are staring at each other in a race, and they're watching each other, and maybe that happens. Or that has happened in the 200 meters freestyle in recent years, where Popovich has had some crazy times, and then he wins Paris in a 144. Like, that's not without the realms of Matt hitting that time.
I just think it'll be different this year, or next week, just because you've got someone like Luke Hobson who likes to take it out strong, to which then you're going to have to follow him. You've got no choice. If you let him go, then he's just going to beat you. You've got to stay on his shoulder the whole time, pretty much, and kind of ride that wave slightly. Oh yeah, it's going to hurt. And then it depends on whoever's got the most at the back end. Might even be Hobson. He might break the field. So it'll be
that's
an interesting
one to watch. You say about riding the wave. If it comes down to getting the right lane into the final,
sometimes it does come down to that. Yeah.
Again, Matt's the racer. Matt's the tactician. He's got Ryan Livingston in his corner.
Yeah.
If they get it right, if they want to sit on Hobson's shoulder and just see what happens, sit on the wave, sit on Popovich's shoulder, and think you can get him on the last 50. Who knows? Who
knows? They've all got a great shot of podium, and same with Jimmy, I suppose, as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully he goes sub 50 at 45. That would be a huge highlight.
Okay, I think that's the biggest names gone through. There's others like Freya Colbert in the 400 meters individual medley, and actually the 200 meters freestyle as well. There's Abby in the 2 IM and the 4 IM. Luke potentially in the 2 back that we were excited because he had a very shortened Paris. I wouldn't say through no fault of his own, but in an unfortunate situation.
He looked good as well.
That's what
I'm kind of hoping he puts something right, and just to see how he does.
We'll touch upon a few of those names after our break that we're having a minute when we talk medal predictions, because we're going to put medals against those names. But youngsters as part of this meet. We've already said that swimmers or Aquatics GB don't take swimmers for experience to a World Championships. But you've got Max Morgan, who's going at just the age of, 17? 17. You've got Jacob Mills. You've got Eva Akaro, who we forget is still only 18 years old. She's been part of this team and around Aquatics GB for a little while now. Holly McGill, who's just broken through for Sterling this year. It's a very exciting future to keep an eye on what these swimmers do at their first World Championships. It's not first World Championships for all of them, but mainly for their first World Championships, because it's an Olympic sport in 3 years' time, come Paris.
Yeah.
I mean, Jacob Mills at the age of 17 is swimming sub 22 second 50 meters freestyle and
48.0.
Yeah, 48.0 for 100 meters freestyle. If he has a very good relay split, I'm excited.
I mean, hypothetically speaking here, let's say in 3 years' time, if you've got Ollie going sub 52, and then suddenly got Max Morgan going, let's say 58, and then
you might still have Adam.
Well, you never know.
Do still have Adam.
Probably depends if like Philip Nowaki's doing quite well right now as well. So we've got a lot of breaststrokers coming through. Fly, I mean, Ed Mildred's doing quite well right now, so we'll see how he gets on. And then Jacob Mills at the end. That's a pretty solid team. In 3 years' time, hypothetically speaking, there could be other swimmers, of course, like Matt could just do the freestyle. He could still be there himself. But very exciting on the men's side. And then the women's side, very similar. Holly McGill's doing really well. Eva's doing amazing stuff as well. So, yeah, ultimately, very exciting stuff. And I still like the idea of taking swimmers to experience it, you know? But
even though they'll never say that.
They'll never say that, but I do generally think it's needed. It really is needed.
Yeah.
And perfect time to do it 3 years out from Olympics.
Okay, let's have a quick ad break, and when we come back, we're going to give our medal predictions, which I think are going to border on double digits. Okay, this week's episode of the Propulsion Swimming Podcast is brought in partnership with One Flow Aquatics out in Summer Bay. Now, a lot of this squad that we've gone through, especially those based in Manchester, a few of those based in Loughborough, have been out to their training centre in Summer Bay, Egypt, which of course was founded by the partners of this podcast, One Flow Aquatics. We've been out there to see the facilities. I know those who have gone out there really enjoyed the sun and the swimming facilities on offer, and essentially like really enjoyed the facilities out there as part of their preparations to these World Championships.
Yeah, I see a lot of reels when they came back of them actually. You see bits and pieces of them swimming, obviously in training, but actually I think they enjoyed the golf and the paddle and all those other bits and pieces, go-karting, which actually make the camps worthwhile as well as the work in the pool and the gym. But yeah, it all comes into one amazing week or however long they go for. I think Manchester were there for about 3 weeks or so. So 2 and a bit, yeah. So it's an amazing place to train. I say this every time, but I wish I was still swimming to train out there because it really is an amazing facility. So yeah, do have a look in the show notes because it is worth having a go and look at.
Yeah, so if you want to inquire about booking your next trip to Summer Bay, whether that be at the October half-term break, when I know a lot of clubs go on their training camps at the end of this year, whether it's February at the start of next year, or maybe even a little bit of a tapered training camp heading into a Summer Nationals, which I know are going on literally as we're recording now. You can do that by following the link in the show notes of this podcast, which takes you over to renowned sports booking agents, Sports Abroad. And yeah, if you've got any questions as well about what it's like over there, what the travel's like, what the venue, what the hotel, anything like that, just drop us a message on our social media and we can let you guys know. Literally anything. How big, how small. I can tell you how big the calamari steak was that I had over there. I can go into that detail if you want.
It was big.
As well.
It was good. Yeah.
It was really good. Yeah. Right, Dan, let's round out this British preview podcast with predictions. I've done a lot of talking on this podcast, so I'm going to throw it to you. I'm going to let you kick things off, and we're going to start with our potentials. So these are the stronger ones we have a feeling about.
Yeah, so I've written a note, obviously, like I always do, and I've got 7. I think we've got a strong chance of hitting 7 medals. I haven't said any colours, just medals. That's in fine. General. I think let's start with the easy ones, the ones I'm kind of really looking forward to watching for one, and I think they will bring back medals. And that's Angharad in the 100 breaststroke and Ollie in the 100 backstroke. I think they're both flying right now. I expect British records. If I'm honest, they're going to go new season's best, which then puts them right in the bracket of hitting podiums. Will they win gold? I'd love to see it, but I think they're going to hit a podium.
I agree, although I'd temper expectations slightly on maybe Ollie given the 100 back depth with Russians being part of the field this year.
Well, this is what I mean. If he can go sub 52,
then yeah, you're laughing.
Then you're all right.
Absolutely laughing. And Ollie does have absolute form going into meets of swimming personal bests and swimming very fast through the rounds. And at the Olympic Games, he was outstanding.
Well, this is why I think Angharad plays in, because she's had all this experience from Paris. I think that will now bode her well going into Singapore, and then she'll go quicker through the rounds, and hopefully then we'll see a 64. Even if it's not a 64, 65 really low is then a phenomenal time. So,
and these are the two new names that we said at the start of this podcast. Yeah. We're very, very excited to see.
Yeah,
hopefully new poster boy and poster girl of British women.
Yeah, well, let's go with some veterans then, if you want to call them that. I think, let's say Matt or Jimmy will win a medal in a 200 free. One or hopefully both would be amazing, but let's just say one for now to be conservative. And then Duncan, I think in a 200 IM, like I said, I think he might even win gold.
I'm trying not to be a homer, but this is a homer podcast. So my heart and my fan experience says yes for Matt or Jimmy. Like, if Jimmy gets that 144, I'll be dancing around this new house of mine. I'll be doing laps. The field is fast and the field is deep. Don't get me wrong. That's going to be, I think, out of this list of potential ones, that's the hardest.
I've got one that is a sort of not even an asterisk. It's just a very hard event, similar to the 200 free. But I'll get there in a minute. Yeah.
Maybe that's the hardest one, but I have faith in the 200 free that something comes in. Duncan in the 2 IM, actually anything less than the silver, I kind of expect silver or above for Duncan in 200.
Well, the problem is he hits silver every time. I don't want him to have another silver. I'd rather him hit gold.
I get that. And I like your reasoning, and you've stuck on that reasoning now for a few weeks, and I agree.
Yeah. Let's go with one more veteran then. Ben in a 53. I don't think I need to go into too much detail. He's a world-class sprinter and has a chance of hitting a podium every time he gets in the water.
Agreed.
That's another one. And then the event I was alluding to earlier with the women's 400 IM. Now, Freya, of course, is the current world champion in the 400 IM. So I suppose she has that sort of mental confidence, if you like, a pedigree, yeah. But actually, maybe even Abby might even pip her this time. But so we've got two chances of winning a medal in the 400 IM. Obviously, gold is completely gone. But there are other swimmers who will challenge for the other medals, obviously, or Katie Grimes and Emma Wines and swimmers like that. But I think Freya or Abby have the potential to steal a medal. If it's even stealing, earned it, I think. If they would definitely earn it in the field, something like that. And then to finish off the men's 4x2. And I don't need to go into too much detail with that either, I don't think.
Do you want to put a world record prediction against the 4x2? Do we think they can finally get there?
I don't think so, no. I don't even think... I know the Americans are extremely close to us, arguably faster now. I don't think the world record is now going to go, just because I just don't know where Dino is at the moment. That is the only problem.
Okay. 2 weeks ago, I was in the same boat. I'm going into this meet. Dino has entered in the 2 IM. I don't think they would have let him do that if they weren't confident he's in a good place. Actually, I say a better place than trials, but the fact that he came third in the 100 free at trials is very, very impressive. I actually have a bit of confidence in the world record going because of how strong the American team is. I think they've potentially got 2 143s in their team. Maybe even lower if Hobson's on a relay takeover, because you've got Carson Foster who's gone 143 as well.
Yeah.
That, and they've got really, really good depth as well. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a race, and if you get sucked into a race like that, which, let's be honest, like Duncan on the anchor leg, we have faith. Anyone listening to this podcast has faith that will win.
Yeah.
But you're going to be caught into a race of fast proportions. Like if I'm thinking Paris. The reason the world record didn't get hit is because the boys swam it incredibly sensibly. Like each one of their legs, first 150 was easy speed, and then they kicked on for the final 50. They kind of played with the field slightly in their races, and you knew that they were finishing fast.
Yeah.
Now I think they're going to have to do more than that. I think they're going to have to. It's less about tactics, and you're going to have to hit season's best, personal best. You're going to have to be flying to beat the American team, and I think they will, and I think that will cause the world record to go.
Really? Wow. Again, I'd love to see it. I just don't know where Dino is. I know he's into the 200 IM. I don't know if you can read too much into that. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to assume that the relay order is the same. I assume Jimmy will want to go first, and then Matt is famous for his third leg, and then Duncan is always going to be anchoring, which leaves Dino going second. So I think the order will be probably the same.
Unless Jack McMillan comes into it, you don't know.
Well, that's just it. I suppose it's then whoever Jack is. I'm assuming in the heats, Jack and Dino are going to be racing off, and then whoever goes the fastest will be in the final. That's my assumption. I could be completely wrong, and Dino is already in the final. You have your top four. That's it. It's set. I just don't know where he's at. I'm assuming Duncan will come back in a 143 like he always does. I'm hoping Jimmy goes a 144, and then Matt will do what he always does and go 144 at least.
And then if you've got a 144, 145, that's on the world record.
It's close then, isn't it? You're looking sort of Tokyo sort of time then, isn't it, roughly
that's
speaking?
What I mean, you're there or thereabouts.
Maybe.
I have faith. I have faith.
I'll go with your optimism rather than my negativity of no. So, I'll go positive. Yeah, why not?
Okay, and those are the 7 potential medals. The ones that we're not banking on. Nothing like that whatsoever, because they're new names as well, and there's strong fields elsewhere, but they're hopeful. Potential medals. Where else could we sneak a podium? And I say sneak in the most respectful way possible, because they're very good fields that they're going up against. Abby Wood in the 200 metres individual medley. She's gone a personal best this year at Champs. I really hope she backs it up when it comes to Singapore. She backs it up. There's every chance she actually beats one of a Kate Douglas and Alex Walsh.
Yep.
If she manages to get down to 207, I cannot see how that's not a podium this year. But, I mean, there's no Katie McEwen either. Obviously, the issue is, unlike Paris, where you said there's 3 medals up for grabs because she wasn't this level.
Yes, yeah.
Now you've got 2 medals up for grabs. Let's be honest with you.
Yep.
Summer McIntosh is she's in her Phelps era.
Yes, very much so.
At this point in time, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's brewing for Abby to get onto that podium.
She is looking at rankings. They are all within 0.1, 0.2 over a 200 metre swim. That's really quite close. It's a blanket finish. So if she can nail the finish, well, there's obviously other bits to think about, but if she can get the touch, she could easily finish 2nd, or she could finish 5th. That's the difference or margin we're dealing with here. It's almost like a 50 metre swim, if I'm honest. So you're absolutely right. I'm hoping it could be more. It could be higher than potential, really, the way that she's going. To go a PB in April, you're kind of hoping that she goes another PB, to which then you're looking 208 low to mid, something around that region. You think, well, that might be good enough.
Yeah, so, and I'm hoping the work on the 4am, and we've talked about a medal potential in that. I hope that really pays dividends as well, because that's what she was saying at Champs.
Yeah, well, she has been pushing the backstroke on, actually, a lot. She's always got a good breaststroke. She did 200 breaststroke many years ago now. The backstroke has been working for her. It's just a shame she's fighting for 2 medals, because Summer is so far ahead, but it is what it is, I'm afraid.
Otherworldly.
Yeah.
I'm going to put Angharad back onto this list in the 200 metres breaststroke, because drops have been coming everywhere. It's a freeing event for her. We spoke to her about it. It's kind of freed up her mental, not struggles, her like nervousness around the 100 metres breaststroke. The fact that she's got this 200 breaststroke, and she's going in 3rd fastest in the world this year. Appreciate that there are some giant names in the 200 metres breaststroke who have not gone their sub 220s that they can do, of which I think we're hopeful. I don't want to rule it out of possibility that she can get onto the podium in this one.
The reason why I think it's hopeful is because this is not her main event, let's say. This is her fun event, if you want to call it that. So there's actually no pressure on her to do amazing swims, I guess. I mean, she'll want to hit a PB, obviously. There's a lot of effort going into the 100. That's her main event. Whereas the 200 is almost like a bit of a bonus in her mind, mentally, potentially. So with that in mind, she might just enter the race, just be completely relaxed and pull out an absolute blinder. To which then, if you're going, I think she's got, what's she done? 222, isn't she? 221, something around that region. Yeah. So she can find a 220 in her. Then,
that's good.
That's
really
like
good.
A potential sort of bronze. If you're thinking Chickenova and Kate Douglas are your top 2, I'd probably say, if they're sort of sub 220s, then she might be able to sneak. I think you used the word sneak earlier. Sneak a bronze, maybe.
Yeah, there's no Tatiana Smith anymore. There's no Lily King at the 200 metres breaststroke, although she's not been the threat that she once was for a little while at that event. There's obviously Mona McSharry and Tang from China, who we just have no idea what she's going to pull out of this field. But we're hopeful. Let's put positive. These are positive intentions. These next ones. We've already spoken about her. Lauren Cox in the 50 metres backstroke. I think we don't need to tread over the ground that we've already gone through on this podcast. Potential. The reason she's not higher, it's so close. The depth of women's backstroke is incredibly, incredibly good. Maybe she's probably the strongest argument, along with the next one on this list, to maybe be bumped up into the potential rather than hopeful.
Yeah, I think the only reason we put her in the potential is because you're dealing with absolute monsters with Kaylee, Reagan, now Burkov. They're going to be your 3 favourites for the podium, and it's just whether Lauren can beat one of them or 2 of them to get onto the podium, which she can do. This is the reason why we're potentially hoping for a medal here. She's done it before, she's got a bronze, so there's no reason why she can't do it again.
Okay, I'm going to say this with fingers crossed, and we don't need to discuss why. Max Litchfield in the 400 metres individual medley. The Olympics last year was heartbreaking. He's back with vengeance, and if he swims anything like he swam at the Olympic Games, if he sets a British record again in the 400 metres individual medley, you know what? There's a very, very strong chance he's on the podium, and it doesn't even have to just be bronze, in my opinion. I think Leon Marchand is ahead of the world. I don't think the rest of the world is where it was in Paris.
No, I suppose the anomaly, if you like, is Bobby Fink going his 4:07, but of course he's not racing. It's concentrate on his proper event, the 1500. So yeah, Max is he's a world beater. He is. Yeah, well, he's going to make the final, and then if you're in the final, you've raced the race.
I think as long as Max is swimming the 400 metres individual medley, I actually do think it's a little bit like Duncan. I think there's a chance of a medal.
Yeah, you take Marchand out, and then everyone else, like it always is at every Olympics that he's done, you have a list of maybe 5 or 6 names, all of which can make the podium. It's just one of those events. He he just got a great chance. Silver, bronze, maybe he should be higher in our medal predictions here.
Well, he's going in as 4th seed. Which, I mean, and it's 4th seed, like, not by much at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
Let's be honest with you. Okay, and let's finish off then with 2 relays. I think the men's 4x1 free we've had high hopes for over recent years, and it's never quite clicked. We're protecting our own emotions in this one by putting this as a potential. I think that's what I would say. I think that the team on paper should click and it should go right, but I don't know, me and you personally have put a lot of energy into that 4x1 clicking, and
we have.
Right now I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, on paper our team is good. It really is good. For whatever reason, it just hasn't quite happened. Whether
100 free depth worldwide is outstanding as well.
It is, but yeah, nations are getting stronger all the time. Obviously, the Aussies are strong, the Americans are strong, but I just maybe it should be higher, but we're just being overly protective,
cautious.
But yeah, cautious is probably the better word, not protective. Yeah, we've got good swimmers. I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to jinx it too much, but we've got a good chance of a medal there for sure.
Men's 4x1 medley to finish then. I think the reason this is there for me is Ollie. I don't know what potentially is going to happen on the breaststroke, if it's Max Morgan or Greg Butler. We could see swims like in Paris, and the world of 100 breaststroke just isn't Adam PT dominant level. So we potentially could get away with a little bit of a slower leg compared to your Qing Haiyangs in that. 100 fly, I like the progress of Ed Mildred this year. I'm kind of confident that progress keeps on clicking when it gets to a World Championships, and we may have found the missing 100 fly swimmer since Jimmy in Tokyo. And the freestyle at the end, there's a plethora of names you could pick from, whether it's Matt, whether it's Jacob Mills. Again, this is probably one for the future. But if Ollie goes a 51, maybe even a 52-0 at the start of the relay leg, you're going to be leading, or you're going to be there or thereabouts, and we know what can happen from there.
I suppose it's not an issue, it's just the way it is, but our breaststroke leg with Max or Greg, whoever swims it, is their debut Worlds. So I don't know if there's a bit of pressure that comes with that.
Maybe.
And let's say your theory comes true here, and Ollie does what he does, which means you're going to be leading, which might then add more pressure on that swimmer to try and hold that lead in some sort of way.
You're in clear
maybe it worked the other way.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, well, maybe. Who knows?
I'm getting ambitious here.
Yeah, yeah. And Ed is doing well, and he's had this experience of international level in some capacity. So, and then Matt will be fine, or Jacob will be fine, I think. But again, or Duncan, yeah. But again, Jacob Mills is in that same bracket, but I don't foresee him going ahead of Matt. That's my opinion.
Well,
there.
You never know what could happen.
Well, you're right. You never know. But it is a one for the future because we've got a lot of young swimmers coming through. I actually spoke about the relay earlier. So in 3 years' time, potentially. So it's exciting. And we could win a medal. It's just that the Americans, the Chinese, the Aussies maybe, or the French. Yeah, they're all quite strong. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, so that's 6 potentials. Dan, I'm going to ask you, and I'll answer this as well. I'm going to ask you to give me a number you would come away happy with Aquatics GB. As a
happy
fan.
with?
Happy with. What number are you comfortable putting the Woodward seal of approval against?
I'd love to see at least 6. At least 6. Hoping for, well, double figures would be nice, but let's say really, I'd love to see 8.
I was going to go 8 as my ambitious. So 6 to 8 is, I think, where we're going to put the marker. Like, not all of those potentials earlier on are going to hit. Not all of the hopefuls are going to miss. Some, it might be all over the place. 6 to 8 would be really, really good in terms of medals. And I think some new names as part of those medals as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's the more exciting bit at the start of an Olympic cycle. And actually, it's a new training style as well that I know Aquatics GB have had for. This is the first kind of big international major meet off the back of it starting at the start of this season.
There's always a lot of focus with British teams being selected on relays, and if you look at our youngsters coming through, the relay potential that we have, like I've said, for the next 1, 2, 3 years, is looking very promising. So very exciting times.
Even that 4x2, there's a few names coming through on that.
I know exactly. Evan Jones, for example, who's actually going to be there racing. So
yeah. Absolutely. Yep. Okay, that just about rounds up this week's episode of the Propulsion Swimming Podcast. To round things out, let us know in the comments section on YouTube what your Woodward seal of approval number is. What your number you would like to see Aquatics GB hit. Be realistic, but be hopeful as well. There's no point going into a meet like this as if you're a fan of swimming, if you're a fan of Aquatics GB being negative, let's be positive. Let's put some big numbers out there.
Yep.
And yeah, I can't wait to see the racing starting. And you know what? 12 p.m. finals for a UK audience is great. Now, we're going to make an announcement over the next coming days on our social medias of how we're going to be covering these World Championships, so keep an eye on those. But until then, guys, we will see you very soon.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll catch you on the next one.
You've been listening to the Propulsion Swimming Podcast with Scott and Dan. We want to thank you for joining us and invite you to subscribe to the show, as well as checking out the Propulsion Swimming YouTube channel for weekly tutorials and videos to get your swimming fix. We will be back next week. Until then, we'll catch you on the next one.